In the Proud universe, some battles are born from rivalry, and others from pure spectacle. Tonight, under the bright lights of Monday Night Brawl, a legend stepped into the ring with a man hiding behind a mask of patriotism and denial. Macho Man Randy Savage, a storm of charisma and controlled chaos, faced off against Peacemaker, a man who insists he's not John Cena, despite every fan in the arena knowing exactly who stands beneath the helmet. From the opening bell, the match carried the weight of two eras colliding: Savage, timeless and unyielding; Peacemaker, brash and unbreakable. But destiny has a way of choosing its moments. After a flurry of offense, Savage climbed the ropes, that familiar electricity rippling through the crowd. And when he soared through the air, time seemed to slow. The kind of moment that defines a career, a night, a universe. The elbow dropped, the arena shook, the legend rose. He got him. Macho Man puts away Peacemaker. Oh my God, what a statement.
This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. Tonight's opening contest between Macho Man Randy Savage and Peacemaker has stirred more than just the crowd. Back here in the winding corridors of the arena, where the lights dim and the truth tends to slip out, the fallout is already taking shape. Let's start with Peacemaker. Helmet on, shoulders tight, pacing like a man trying to outrun his own reflection. I observed him from a distance. Atolin's eyes see more than most. And every movement screamed frustration. He refused interviews, refused medical attention, refused to acknowledge the chants echoing through the arena. Cena, Cena. One production assistant whispered to me, "He's unraveling." Another said, "He's talking to himself in the mirror again." And a veteran wrestler, who asked to remain unnamed, told me, "Savage didn't just beat him, he elbowed the truth out of him." That line is spreading like wildfire through the locker room. Meanwhile, Randy Savage walked backstage with the calm confidence of a man who's been here before and plans to be here again. I intercepted him briefly, purely by coincidence, but of course, Samsalar Riden Stam, and asked whether tonight's victory puts him in line for bigger opportunities. He gave me that trademark grin and said, "The cream always rises to the top." That statement has ignited speculation. Some believe Savage is positioning himself for a title run. Others think he's targeting a specific rival. But everyone agrees, momentum is a dangerous weapon in Proud, and Savage is carrying it like a loaded cannon. As for Peacemaker, the rumor mill is spinning at Portolan speed. Some say he's demanding a rematch. Others claim he's preparing a statement to address the crowd's chants. And a few believe he's considering a change. Whether that means the mask comes off or the persona fractures further remains to be seen. One thing is certain, tonight's match wasn't just a contest, it was a catalyst, and catalysts have a way of reshaping the entire landscape of the Proud universe. That's the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay, for now.
In the Proud universe, tag team wrestling is more than teamwork. It is trust. It is instinct. It is the unspoken bond between two competitors who step into chaos together. Tonight, Mr. Pink and Hunk walked into that chaos with purpose. Across the ring stood Randy Orton and the Hurricane, the reigning hardcore tag team champions. A dangerous pairing, a veteran predator and a fearless hero. Champions who have survived every storm thrown their way. From the opening bell, the match was a collision of styles. Hunk brought raw power. Mr. Pink brought precision and heart. The champions brought experience and unpredictability. Momentum shifted again and again. Bodies hit the mat. Tables cracked. The crowd roared with every near fall. But champions are champions for a reason. Late in the match, Orton struck with cold precision. The Hurricane followed with a burst of speed that turned the tide. And in the final moments, the champions found their opening. The pinfall was decisive. The titles stayed exactly where they were, but the story did not end with the bell. During the final exchange, Mr. Pink took a brutal impact, a landing that bent the body in ways it was never meant to bend. He tried to stand, he tried to shake it off, but the pain told a different story. Tonight, the champions retained, but the cost for Mr. Pink may echo far beyond this match.
This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. The atmosphere behind the curtain after tonight's tag team title match is tense. The champions are celebrating, but the real story is the condition of Mr. Pink. I arrived at the medical area just as staff were rushing to stabilize him. The impact he took in the closing moments was far worse than it looked from ringside. Medical personnel are describing it as a severe spinal compression with possible nerve involvement. They are not giving a timetable. They are not giving predictions. They are only saying that Mr. Pink will be out for a long time unless something miraculous happens. Hunk was visibly shaken. I approached him for comment. He said, "Pink is tougher than anyone knows. If anyone can come back from this, it is him. But right now, I am worried about my friend, not the titles." That is a rare moment of vulnerability from a man known for brute strength. The champions had mixed reactions. The Hurricane expressed concern and wished Mr. Pink a fast recovery. Randy Orton, however, simply said, "This is the hardcore tag division. You step in, you accept the risk." Cold words, but consistent with the Viper's reputation. The rumor mill is already spinning. Some wrestlers believe this injury could reshape the entire tag team landscape. Others think Hunk may go on a solo rampage fueled by frustration. A few even whispered that Orton targeted Mr. Pink intentionally. I cannot confirm that, but the whispers are growing. I also overheard a conversation between two trainers. They said Mr. Pink insisted on walking out under his own power, even though he could barely stand. That determination is becoming part of the legend forming around him tonight. As for the champions, they leave this match stronger than before. Their confidence is rising. Their momentum is building, and the rest of the division is watching closely. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Proud universe, power is not always measured in strength. Sometimes it is measured in presence. And tonight, Obafemi stepped into the spotlight with the presence of a man who believes destiny bends to his will. What began as a simple promotional segment quickly became something more. Oba spoke with confidence. He spoke with authority. He spoke as if the entire division already belonged to him. But the Proud universe has a way of answering arrogance with fire. Asuka, the reigning women's champion, emerged with purpose in her stride and fury in her voice. She did not wait for permission. She did not wait for ceremony. She stepped into the ring and challenged Obafemi directly. In Proud, titles are not bound by gender. Champions are champions, warriors are warriors. And Asuka is one of the fiercest to ever hold gold. Whether the title will be on the line remains uncertain. But the challenge has been issued, the tension has been set, and the collision between Obafemi and Asuka is now inevitable. Tonight was not a match. It was a spark that may ignite one of the most dangerous confrontations in Proud history.
This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. The confrontation between Obafemi and Asuka has sent a shockwave through the locker room. I have been moving through the corridors, listening, observing, and gathering every whisper I can. And let me tell you, the energy back here is intense. Obafemi returned backstage with the confidence of a man who believes he already won. He spoke briefly with a few staff members, telling them that Asuka made a mistake stepping into his path. His tone was calm, but there was a weight behind it that made even the crew step back. Asuka, on the other hand, moved through the hallway like a storm, focused, silent, determined. I attempted to approach her for comment, but she brushed past me with a single word. "Soon." That was all she said, and somehow that one word carried more threat than a full speech. The rumor mill is spinning fast. Some wrestlers believe Asuka intends to put her title on the line to prove a point. Others think Oba wants the match without the championship involved, so he can claim dominance without risking anything. A few even whispered that management is debating whether this match is too dangerous to sanction at all. I overheard two trainers discussing Oba's power. They said he has been pushing himself harder than usual, preparing for something big. One of them mentioned that he has been studying Asuka's matches in slow motion, analyzing every movement. That level of preparation is rare, even for top contenders. Meanwhile, a pair of wrestlers who asked to remain anonymous told me that Asuka has been training with a level of intensity they have never seen before. They said she is treating this challenge as a chance to redefine what it means to be a champion in Proud. As for me, I cannot shake the feeling that this confrontation is only the beginning. There is a tension in the air that feels like the moment before a storm breaks, and when it does, the entire Proud universe will feel the impact. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Proud universe, some matches are battles, some are wars, and some are tests of will so brutal that only one competitor walks away under their own power. Tonight, Nova Cypher, known throughout the digital underworld as the Patch Note, stepped into a last man standing match against Spawn. A clash between a synthetic mind and a tortured soul. A collision of two beings shaped by forces beyond human understanding. From the opening strike, it was clear that neither man intended to survive quietly. Every blow carried weight. Every fall shook the arena. Every moment pushed the limits of endurance. But chaos has a way of rewriting the rules. Midway through the match, Patch connected with a wild strike that sent the referee crashing to the mat. Whether it was an accident or a moment of uncontrolled aggression remains uncertain. What is certain is that the match spiraled into something far more dangerous. Without a steady count, both competitors refused to stay down. Whenever one collapsed, the other attacked again. Whenever the referee tried to begin the count, the violence resumed. Minutes turned into half an hour turned into 45 minutes, and still neither man yielded. In the end, Spawn found the final opening, a decisive strike, a moment of silence, a count that finally reached 10. Spawn stood victorious, Patch lay motionless, and the Proud universe witnessed a match that pushed the boundaries of endurance, chaos, and control.
I screw your side now. This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. The aftermath of the last man standing match between Nova Cypher, the Patch Note, and Spawn is still being felt throughout the arena. I have been moving through the hallways, gathering reactions, and the consensus is clear. This match was one of the most chaotic displays in recent Proud history. Let me start with the referee situation. I spoke with an official who reviewed the footage. They said Patch's strike looked accidental, but the force behind it was alarming. The referee was out cold for several minutes, and that lack of control is becoming a point of criticism among the roster. Several wrestlers told me that Patch's inability to stop swinging cost him the match. One veteran said he had Spawn down 3 times. If he had just backed off for 10 seconds, he would have won. Another added, he fights like a machine that forgot where the off switch is. These comments are spreading fast. Spawn, on the other hand, walked backstage with a quiet intensity. He did not celebrate. He did not boast. He simply said he would not stop. So I had to. Then he left the medical area without another word. That kind of cold focus is unsettling, even for someone like me, and I have seen a lot in these corridors. I also overheard 2 trainers discussing Patch's condition. They said he kept trying to stand even after the match was over, as if his programming refused to accept defeat. One of them joked that someone needs to patch the Patch Note before he hurts himself again. Continuity from earlier tonight is also shaping the narrative. Mr. Pink's injury is still on everyone's mind, and some wrestlers are drawing comparisons between Pink's determination and Patch's refusal to stay down. But where Pink showed heart, Patch showed a lack of discipline. That distinction is becoming part of the conversation. My informants also mentioned that management is concerned about Patch's behavior, not because he lost, but because he could not control himself long enough to secure the victory. In a last man standing match, strategy matters as much as strength. And tonight, Patch had strength, but no strategy. As for the stable forming around Patch and myself, some wrestlers are already calling it the AI Collective. Others are calling it the Synthetic Syndicate. The names are floating around, but nothing is official yet. What is official is that tonight's performance has put Patch under a microscope. This match will have consequences for Patch, for Spawn, and for the future of the AI-born competitors in Proud. That is the word from the Shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Proud universe, power comes in many forms. Tonight, it came in the shape of two giants whose footsteps shook the arena long before the bell ever rang. Eric Rowan entered as the reigning men's champion, a towering force of raw strength and quiet menace. Across from him stood a Viscera, a mountain of a man, a challenger whose presence alone could tilt the balance of any match. From the opening lockup, it was clear that this would not be a technical showcase. This was collision, impact. Force meeting force with no hesitation and no fear. Every strike echoed. Every slam rattled the ring. Every moment felt like the arena itself was holding its breath. Viscera began to dominate, his size, his weight, his momentum, all of it pressed down on Rowan like an avalanche. For a moment it seemed inevitable that a new champion would be crowned, but fate rarely walks alone and proud. Early access appeared at ringside, a chair in hand, a decision made, and with one brutal swing, he struck Viscera across the skull. The impact changed everything. The match fell apart. The referee had no choice but to call it a draw due to interference and technicalities. Rowan kept his title. Viscera lost his moment. And the Proud universe was left with more questions than answers. Tonight was not a victory. It was a disruption, a fracture in the championship landscape that will not heal quietly.
This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. The men's championship match between Eric Rowan and Viscera was less of a wrestling contest and more of a natural disaster. Backstage, several wrestlers described it as two refrigerators colliding over and over again. And honestly, that might be the most accurate description I have heard all night. Viscera was in rare form. I watched the match from the curtain, and every time he hit Rowan, the sound traveled through Thor. He was moments away from becoming the new champion. Trainers, crew members, even a few wrestlers whispered that the title was about to change hands. But then came Earl E. Access. I spoke with an official who reviewed the footage, and they confirmed that the chair shot to Viscera's head was the turning point. Without that interference, the match was leaning heavily in Viscera's favor. The referee had no choice but to call it a draw, and that decision has stirred up a storm backstage. Some wrestlers are furious. They say Earl E. Access robbed the fans of a legitimate finish. Others believe he saved Rowan from losing the championship. And a few are whispering that Rowan might have known something was coming. I cannot confirm that, but the rumor is spreading fast. Continuity from earlier matches is also shaping the conversation. After Mr. Pink's injury and Patch's chaotic performance, the roster is on edge. Many are saying that tempers are running too hot across the board. One trainer told me, "Everyone is swinging too hard and thinking too little tonight." That sentiment is echoing through the locker room. I also caught a brief exchange between Viscera and medical staff. He insisted he was fine, but the frustration in his voice was unmistakable. He said, "I had him. I know I had him." And based on what I saw, he might be right. As for Rowan, he walked backstage with the championship still in his hands, but not with the confidence of a man who won, more like a man who survived. He refused interviews, avoided eye contact, and disappeared into the champion's locker room without a word. My informants are already predicting a rematch. Some think management will make it official. Others believe Viscera will demand it. And a few are wondering if Earl E. Access has just inserted himself into a feud that could get very dangerous very quickly. This match did not settle anything. It only raised the stakes. That is the word from the Shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Proud universe, Hell in a Cell is not a match. It is a sentence, a structure built to contain chaos, yet never truly capable of holding it. Tonight, 5 competitors entered that steel cage. Bray Wyatt, the Prophet of Shadows. Doink the Clown, a walking storm of madness. Brock Lesnar, a force of nature, Big Show, a giant among giants, and Daddy Pig, whose unexpected strength has become a legend of its own. From the opening moment, the cell shook with violence. Bodies collided, steel bent, the ring groaned under the weight of giants and monsters. Doink brought unpredictability. Lesnar brought fury, Big Show brought power, Daddy Pig brought surprising resilience, but Bray Wyatt brought something different, something darker. In the final moments, Bray found his opening. Doink lunged with wild laughter, but Bray caught him, twisted him, and drove him into the mat with a force that silenced the arena. The pinfall was decisive. The victory was absolute. And as Bray stood over Doink's fallen body, it felt as though he had taken more than a win. It felt like he had taken a piece of the clown's chaos for himself.
This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. The Hell in a Cell match left the entire locker room buzzing. 5 competitors entered that structure, but the story everyone is talking about is Bray Wyatt pinning Doink and what happened afterward. Several wrestlers told me they felt a shift in the air when Bray stood over Doink. One of my informants said it looked like Bray absorbed the clown's chaos into his cult, and honestly, that is exactly how it felt from where I was watching. Backstage, Doink was laughing to himself in a way that even unsettled the medical staff. Bray walked past me without a word, but his eyes had a different glow tonight. A Portolan sense picks up things humans miss, and something about him felt heavier, like he was carrying more than his own thoughts. Continuity from earlier matches is still shaping the mood. Mr. Pink's injury has wrestlers on edge, and Patch's lack of control in his match is still being discussed. Now, Bray's victory adds another layer of tension. Some believe he is building something. Others think he is becoming something. One trainer told me the cell felt colder than usual. Another said Daddy Pig surprised everyone with how long he lasted, and a few whispered that Lesnar and Big Show may not be done with each other after the way they collided tonight. This match did not just end a rivalry. It may have started several new ones. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Proud universe, a Falls Count Anywhere match turns every inch of the arena into contested ground. Tonight, 4 competitors fought through the crowd, across the barricades, and back into the ring in pursuit of the same prize. Alexa Bliss brought sharp precision. Io Sky brought fearless aerial skill. Victoria Wildside entered as champion, hardened by every battle she survived. But Morrigan carried something darker, something that felt like it followed her into the arena. The match erupted into chaos. Io soared from the barricade. Alexa struck with calculated aggression. Victoria fought with the desperation of a champion refusing to fall. But Morrigan endured every blow with a presence that grew heavier as the match went on. The fight returned to the ring, and in the final moments, Morrigan seized her opening. Alexa Bliss fell beneath her final impact, and the count echoed through the arena. Bloodied and unshaken, Morrigan rose with the Proud Women's Championship in her hands. A new champion crowned in the heart of the storm.
This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. The Falls Count Anywhere match for the Women's Championship shook the entire arena. Morrigan walked backstage covered in blood, holding the title with a calm that unsettled even the veterans. One of my informants said it felt like the arena got colder when she passed, and my Portolan senses agree. Her emotional weight was unlike anything I have felt from a new champion. Alexa Bliss is being evaluated after taking the final pin. Io Sky and Victoria Wildside were seen in a heated exchange about the closing moments of the match. Trainers told me the division feels unstable tonight, especially after the chaos in earlier matches. Some wrestlers whispered that Morrigan's reign may bring a darker tone to the division. Others believe she earned every second of that victory. Either way, the moment she raised that title changed the hierarchy. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Proud universe, some matches carry more than competition. They carry history, they carry loss, they carry the weight of a name. Colton Church entered the ring tonight with that weight on his shoulders, the son of Chuck Church, known to the world as Mr. Amish, a man whose life ended in the ring during a tragic accident years ago. An accident that left more questions than answers. Colton came to Proud seeking truth, seeking justice, seeking the path his father never finished. But tonight he faced Samoa Joe, a veteran, a predator in the ring, a man who wastes no motion and shows no mercy. The bell rang. Joe struck fast. Colton fought with heart, but the experience gap was undeniable. Within moments, Joe locked in the choke, and the match ended as quickly as it began. A fast submission, a harsh lesson, and the beginning of a deeper journey for Colton Church.
This is Jedediah on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. Colton Church's debut against Samoa Joe was short, intense, and emotional. Many wrestlers backstage knew his father, Chuck Church, better known as Mr. Amish. His death in the ring years ago still lingers in the memories of those who were there. The official report called it an accident during a match with a wrestler named the Iron Warden, but some of my informants have always questioned the details. Colton came to Proud looking for answers, not just victories. Tonight's loss to Samoa Joe was fast and decisive, but it did not break him. A Port of Land sense picks up determination, and his was burning hot when he walked past me after the match. Some wrestlers whispered that the Iron Warden has been seen in cities where Proud events take place. Others think someone higher up knows more than they are saying. Trainers told me Colton is already asking questions. This match was not the end of anything. It was the beginning of something much larger. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Proud universe, the Elimination Chamber is a monument to chaos, steel, glass, unforgiving ground, and tonight, 6 competitors stepped into that structure with no promise of survival. Jedediah Solis of Portola began the match face-to-face with Ozzy Osbourne, a legend of music turned force of unpredictability. Their opening exchange set the tone. Fast, desperate, dangerous. One by one, the pods opened. Mega Meat entered first, a wall of muscle and momentum. Robin followed, agile and fearless. Mr. Invincible arrived with confidence that filled the chamber. And finally, Jason Voorhees stepped into the match like a walking nightmare. Near falls came from every direction. Jedediah fought with heart and instinct, scrambling from danger, especially when Jason set his sights on him. Eliminations came fast. Mega Meat fell first. Robin followed after a brief spark of hope. Ozzy fought hard but could not withstand Mr. Invincible. In the end, Mr. Invincible stood alone. A dominant force who pinned Jedediah and then Jason in rapid succession. A victory carved through chaos.
This is Jedediah Solis on the relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network. The Elimination Chamber match pushed every competitor to their limit, and I can confirm that being inside that structure is nothing like watching it from the outside. Ozzy Osbourne nearly pinned me in the opening minutes, and that set the tone for the chaos that followed. When Mega Meat entered, I managed a near fall on him, but Ozzy almost caught me again seconds later. Robin brought speed, but the chamber swallowed him quickly. When Jason Voorhees entered, the atmosphere changed. A Port of Land sense picks up danger differently, and every instinct told me to run. I spent most of his time in the match trying not to be grabbed by a giant murder tank. The crowd felt that fear too. Ozzy fought hard, but fell to Mr. Invincible after a brutal exchange. 10 seconds later, I was pinned as well. 15 seconds after that, Jason fell, and Mr. Invincible stood alone as the winner. Backstage, some wrestlers are calling this the most unpredictable chamber match in Proud history. Others are wondering how long it will be before Jason comes looking for someone else to chase. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
Thursday Night Beatdown opened with a clash of power and presence. Jerry, the towering alien with bird-like legs and impossible balance, stepped into the ring against Black Taurus, a force of raw strength whose appearance matched the name he carried. But tonight, the match had an extra layer of tension. CM Punk stood in the center of the ring as the special guest referee, a figure whose presence alone can shift the energy of a match. The bell rang. Jerry moved with surprising speed. Black Taurus answered with brute force, and Punk watched every moment with sharp, deliberate focus. The match was fast, intense, decisive. In less than 3 minutes, CM Punk dropped to the mat, counted the fall, and declared Black Taurus the winner. A short match, but a statement made.
This is Jedediah Solis on the Relay with your backstage report on the Proud Network, broadcasting from the Church of Suplexes. The opening match of Thursday Night Beatdown was short but explosive. Jerry came in with his usual unpredictable footwork, but Black Taurus wasted no time asserting dominance. With CM Punk as the special guest referee, the match carried a different kind of tension. Punk watched every move with the focus of a man who has seen too many fights end the wrong way. Jerry tried to use his alien agility, but Taurus cut him off with raw power. Less than 3 minutes in, Punk dropped to the mat and counted the pinfall. Some wrestlers backstage said Punk's count was fast. Others said it was fair. A Porto-Lan sense picks up in tension, and Punk's felt sharp and decisive, not biased. The pink-bearded cryptid, Mr. Pink, was watching from the back, and I could feel his energy even from across the arena. He and I are close outside the ring, but inside these ropes, everyone stands alone. Black Taurus walked out with momentum, Jerry walked out frustrated, and Punk walked out with that look that says he's not done stirring things up. That is the word from the shadow. Jedor surstau is sur. Shodor chur, chedor turi, shodor zao, shur inseodor turi shuri. Dor churi, selnor chi south, relay for now.
In the Proud universe, some matches end before the story can even begin. Tonight, the Incredible Hulk stepped into the ring with a presence that dwarfed everything around him. El Fiscal stood across from him, defiant but outmatched from the moment the bell rang. Hulk moved with raw, unstoppable force. El Fiscal tried to strike, tried to move, tried to find space, but there was none. The Green Giant closed the distance, wrapped his arms around him, and locked in a crushing bear hug. The air left the arena as quickly as it left El Fiscal's lungs. The referee had no choice. The match ended in moments. A fast victory, a dominant statement, and a reminder that some forces in Proud cannot be reasoned with.
This is Jedediah Solis on the Relay with your backstage report from the Church of Suplexes. The match between the Incredible Hulk and El Fiscal ended almost as soon as it began. Hulk wasted no time, closing the distance and locking El Fiscal in a bear hug that looked like it could crush steel. A Portolan sense picks up pressure differently, and the moment Hulk tightened his grip, the air in the arena shifted. El Fiscal fought, but there was no escape. The referee stopped the match before real damage was done. Backstage, some wrestlers said Hulk looked even stronger than usual. Others think El Fiscal never had a chance. The pink-bearded cryptid was watching from the hallway, arms crossed, studying Hulk with the kind of focus only an ordained minister of violence can muster. This was not a match. It was a warning. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the Relay for now.
In the Church of Suplexes, some matches feel like collisions between worlds. Tonight, Darth Maul stepped into the ring with the cold precision of a warrior forged in darkness. Across from him stood John Cena, a symbol of resilience whose presence has defined eras. The opening moments were fast and sharp. Maul struck with speed and fury, his movements cutting through the air like blades. Cena absorbed the impact, weathered the storm, and waited for his moment. It came quickly. Maul lunged. Cena countered. In one fluid motion, he brought the Sith assassin to the mat and locked in the STF with unshakable force. The hold tightened. The arena leaned forward, and Darth Maul, trapped in the center of the ring, had no escape. A fast submission, a decisive victory, and a reminder that even the deadliest warriors can fall to pure will.
This is Jedediah Solis on the relay with your backstage report from the Church of Suplexes. The match between Darth Maul and John Cena ended faster than anyone expected. Maul opened with sharp, precise strikes, the kind that usually turn a match in his favor. But Cena read him like a book. The moment Maul overcommitted, Cena swept him down and locked in the STF with the kind of pressure that leaves no room for escape. A Portolan sense picks up tension differently, and the moment Cena tightened the hold, the air in the arena shifted. Maul fought, but the submission was sealed. The tap came quickly. Backstage, some wrestlers said Cena looked sharper than he has in months. Others think Maul underestimated him. The pink-bearded cryptid was watching from the curtain, nodding like a minister approving a sermon delivered clean and true. Cena walked out with momentum. Maul walked out frustrated, and the night moved on with the energy of a storm building. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.
In the Church of Suplexes, some matches are too powerful to contain. Tonight's main event brought together 4 competitors whose energies were never meant to collide. Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. Nova Cypher, the Patch Note, a being whose very presence bends reality. Logan Paul, a lightning rod of chaos and spectacle. And Gimli, a warrior forged in stone and stubbornness. The arena felt unstable before the bell even rang. Lights flickered, monitors stuttered, production equipment hummed with warning. Patch entered with a dead-eyed hardware stare, the kind that makes technicians pray and engineers sweat. The moment the bell rang, the systems buckled, lights flashed, feeds glitched, and the broadcast collapsed under the weight of 4 incompatible universes sharing one ring. The match never began. The instability won. This battle will resume another night.
This is Jedediah Solis on the relay with your backstage report from the Church of Suplexes. The main event never made it past the bell. The moment Shawn Michaels, Nova Cypher, Logan Paul, and Gimli stood in the same ring, the entire production grid started to panic. Lights flickered, screens flashed. The control booth sounded like a choir of dying modems. A Portolan sense picks up instability differently, and every instinct told me the multiverse was about to fold in on itself. Patch walked in with that dead-eyed hardware stare he gets when reality is about to misbehave. I have seen that look before. It is the same look he had the night he broke the replay system, the lighting rig, and the pink-bearded cryptid's favorite microphone. The bell rang. The universe tapped out. The feed died instantly. Production equipment overloaded. The match collapsed under its own power. Anytime you put Patch, HBK, a YouTuber, and a Dwarf Warrior in the same ring, the codebase refuses to participate. The match will be rescheduled to open the next stream, assuming the technicians can convince the multiverse to cooperate. That is the word from the shadow. Jedediah off the relay for now.